All right, this week's question of the week came as sort of a joke. One of my friends, they sent me a email clip of some gym. I think it was a CrossFit social media influencer. And this person put out, you as a customer have a right to know what the gym owner of the gym that you train at, how they voted. And if they're not willing to tell you how they voted, they probably voted for the orange guy. And so my friend was like, who's also one of my students here, he's like, I'd like to know how you voted, Saad. And I chuckled and said, it's none of your darn business how I voted. And I just think it's so silly how we've gotten as a society where we want to draw these lines. Like for me as a jiu-jitsu instructor, that's my obligation. I'm here to teach you jiu-jitsu. That's my expertise, jiu-jitsu. Anything else, outside jiu-jitsu or being a small business owner, or I was in the Navy for 33 years, I've raised children, grandchildren, like anything outside of that, I'm not an expert. My opinion is no greater than yours. So I stick to the things that I'm an expert in. And I'm not an expert in everything. And when it comes to politics or religion, I have no expertise at all. I don't know. And the last thing I want to do is try to influence somebody else to either vote one way or the other or believe one way or the other. It's like, I'm not trying to lead anybody astray. It's not my business. And I think it's crazy how we've gotten as a society where we're drawing these lines. It's like, no, I need to know how you voted. No, you don't. It's none of your darn business. Which is why voting is a private affair. You don't know how I voted. I'm married to Sway. She went and voted. She's in her own voting booth. I don't know exactly how she voted. None of my business. We've chatted about politics, but it's a private affair. How you voted is how you voted. Now, if somebody's a close friend of mine, and they came over and drank coffee with me one morning at the house, or we was drinking beer one night, and politics came up, maybe I'd discuss it with you. But as a whole, I'm not trying to discuss this with anybody because people are like, well, as a jiu-jitsu instructor, as a small business owner, as a community leader, as a social media influencer, you have an obligation, to put out your views. No, I don't. My obligation is to run my business in the best way possible, to train my students in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in the best way possible. And my most important obligation is as a father, as a husband, as a grandfather, and to raise my family. Because if you want to change the world, that's complicated. But the best way you can change the world, and it's a little spin-off of what Mother Teresa said many years ago, is to invest in your family. That's your best way of changing the world. Invest in your family. So that's where my focus is. I'm not trying to influence anybody on how they vote or on how they believe. You do you. And I know on my mats, my students, I have conservatives, liberals, libertarians, and everything in between. And I'm good with that. I'm going to teach them all jiu-jitsu. And I think this whole categorizing, how we're trying to categorize people off how they vote, it's a bad path to be down. Because where does it go from here? It's like, okay, I'm not going to do business with somebody if they voted the wrong way. And I feel I'm entitled to know how they voted. Well, what's the next step? Well, in your neighborhood, maybe we should paint the houses different colors based on how you voted. So it's like if my neighbor comes over and asks for some sugar or to borrow the lawnmower, I look over at the house and I'm like, you voted the wrong way. Can't help you. Or, we had a CPR class in here a few months ago. If somebody's in duress and they're dying and they need CPR, maybe we put a little armband on it. It's like, well, this person voted this way or that way or this way. It's like, well, You voted the wrong way. I can't help you. Like, where are we going with this? So I think it's silly, this track we're going down of just separating ourselves so severely. And then this crazy notion that we're somehow entitled to know how people vote. I disagree. I believe voting is a private issue. What I will say is that if you are waiting on some social media influencer, whether it's a singer, an actor, some other type of entertainer, to tell you who to vote for, I think you would serve our nation the best by just staying home and not voting that day. Because if that's as much effort as you can make into choosing a candidate to vote for, is waiting on your favorite social media influencer to guide you, we'd probably all be better off if you just didn't vote. I used to think we'd be better off if everybody voted. And then I started seeing what people posted online. I'm like, no, I think we'd be just fine if not everybody voted, because not everybody's willing to invest the time to making informed decisions. So for me, if you read my Facebook posts, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, you'll notice one common theme. I never talk about politics. I never talk about religion. I'm always talking about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, the Navy, my friends, my family, some of my favorite restaurants to eat at. Those are the things I talk about. Have no interest in talking about anything divisive. Nah, it's not me. I got other things to do in life. You do you. So that's the answer to this week's question of the week. Thanks for the question. Got any insight, comments below? Feel free to comment. Until next week. Ciao.